Hello everyone and welcome to February Coffee and Card week 2, and we're still using the Friendly Gnome kit, stamp set and dies, and this is the card I've gone for today. So my inspiration comes from two places. First of all, I've signed up for a colouring class with it's Mitsu Crafts, I think it's called. It's a fellow demonstrator. So I thought I'd get or inaugurate my watercolour pencils, because I haven't used them before, and just have a little play with our little gnomes. And the other thing, I've joined a group on Facebook called, what's it called? Basically, it's not fussy cards, it's simple cards. Clean and simple, that's the word I'm looking for. So clean and simple cards where there's a lot of white space, which is something I'm not terribly good at. So I thought, let's give it a go. We've got the two little images here. I've not put a sentiment on. We've just focused on the two little images. And I've put it on, instead of doing it straight onto the card, I have added a bit of texture by putting a layer. So it's a basic white layer on a basic white card, which just gives it a bit of texture. So quite a long video today because I've got a lot of colouring in to do. So I hope you'll stay with me and enjoy, and we shall start off. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got my kit here. So literally it's just three pieces, your basic white card base, a basic white mat, and some basic white to stamp and die cut your gnome. So now I've just been peeling potatoes, sorry, excuse my nails. So I've actually already stamped and die cut my gnome, and because I'm using alcohol pencils rather, I can stamp it in crumb cake, which I thought again was nice and subtle. So I've already done that just to save us a bit of time. So I will now get to stamping and colouring in. So I'll move this out of the way and pop the card back so we can see what we're doing. So you can use anything that you want to colour in. You can watercolour it. You could use watercolour pencils without water, which is what I've done. Use your Stampin' markers, use your alcohol blends, whatever you want. And because you really do have a blank canvas here, because you're white on white on white, any colour you want. So you don't need to follow mine. Not that you ever need to follow my colourways. I do like a person going off piste. So I'm going to ink up the mushroom. Now, unfortunately, as I say, this is the sort of literally sister stamp set to the gnome stamp set. And just a sec, I'm not quite straight. There we go. But this toadstool doesn't cut out using the die that's in the die set. It's the bigger one from the other one that does, which is a shame. So, but not the end of the world. So I think I'm just going to go very slightly down and left, very slightly, and plonk my mushroom. We're calling it mushroom, we're calling it a toadstool, I don't know. Right, and I shall start off colouring in. So the one thing I do know about colouring in with watercolour pencils, or any pencil really, it helps if it's sharp. So my husband bought an automatic pencil sharpener not long ago, and I am the main user of this. I love it. Apart from my son, who just like wipes pencils out to zero with it. Right, so I'm going to start off with the main body of the mushroom, and I am using crushed curry. I've used pencils out of both sets of pencil crayons in the Stampin' Up collection. So both the set 1 and set 2, as they're imaginatively called. So I'm just laying down the first layer of colour here. So, and the depth of colour you get obviously depends on how hard you press your crayon. Okay, so that's the body of the tree done. Tree, mushroom. So I'm just, so as I say, just the first layer. So then I'm going to add some details. So the artist who designed this stamp has nicely put some shading in for us. So I tend to just follow what they've done. Okay, so there's a bit of shading here as well, and I'm just pressing on a little bit harder so I'm getting a bit more depth to the colour. And then I think there should be a bit of a shadow where the mushroom goes around the back, and then I'm just going to add a bit more colour along the lines, just coming right to the edge here because I've missed that. Just adding a bit more colour and then even more along the lines. Now you can take as long as you want with this. Adding layers, you can take hours if you so wish, or just quickly like I've done there. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. And I am now going to move on to my dark brown, which I suspect is early espresso. And so I did my windowsill and this. And this time I wanted quite a dark colour, so I've gone in quite heavily with this. Not so much that I'm denting the card, but enough that there's a nice deep colour there. And coming round. There we go, and then just along the bottom as well, just closing that door off, and then I've just coloured in the little stones too. Oh gosh, the sun's, I'm filming late afternoon, which is not like me. I'm a morning filmer, and the sun's really coming out now. Right, okay, so I think a red door, don't you? So we've gone real red here, and I'm going to use this both on the door and on the cap of the mushroom. Okay. And I've left the door handle because I'm going to do that yellow. Okay. And then we're on to so I'm pressing on a bit harder here. Following the lines that the artist has put in as shadow line, this sort of shading and texture. Okay. And it's like anything, you can't take it away. You can use the rubber and you can get some of it off, but not a lot. You can always add more, so you know it's best to start lighter and build up your layers rather than trying to get the final colour in one go, because you'll get streaks and you won't get a smooth texture. These pencils are so lovely to use. I do have some really expensive drawing pencils from when I used to do colouring in classes, when I used to go to learn. Most of which I appear to have forgotten. But these are brilliant. They're such a lovely texture, and they lay down a lovely amount of colour as well. So it shows you don't absolutely have to spend a fortune to get some really nice pencils. And as I say, these are watercolour pencils as well, so you can use them with add water to get a more fluid image. So as I say, you can spend a lot longer than I am doing getting all your textures and everything. I'm just lightly or just darkly going over the textures like that. So there we go. So that's our red. Shall we go through it? I think the redder door looks better, so I'm going to go back in. And that's the thing, if you've not pressed too hard, you can go back and add more colour if you want. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Right, so we're now going to go. This is Balmy. Then now they calls it Balmy Blue. It does actually. It's a bit darker. Stampin' Up! Are normally incredibly good at matching their colours from different mediums, but I think they've not quite managed it on this one. I think it's much more a Pacific point than a balmy blue, but it's pretty. I suppose if I press very lightly, we might get a Pacific point. Right, so let's do that yellow doorknob. Just there with Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to use the old olive to do the leaves and the grass. So, makes a lovely leaf, just the old olive. And I'm just adding some grass there, where she's put, or he, the artist, has put some hints of greenery. I've just added some in. And then I'm colouring in the leaves. Okay, so there we go. So that's the mushroom done. Just shaking off any dots of ink. So your pencil does crumb occasionally and leave little dots. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put that to one side and turn our attention to our little gnome. So, and I think I actually did. His hat is old olives. Let's do that while I have it in my hand. Okay, so again, just putting down that first layer of colour. It's quite relaxing, this as well. So apologies for being a longer video than normal. I'm going on a demonstrator training day soon, and it's all things YouTube, and the one thing I'm hoping to learn is how to make bits of my video go fast. So then you don't have to watch me wittering to myself as I colour in. I can just speed it up. So there's the hat, and then I'm going to use the evening evergreen, not the evening evergreen, the garden green, just to colour in his jacket. Or maybe his dungarees. I suspect the dungarees underneath. Her. Him. Are we him? I think we are a him, this one. Now this time I wasn't happy with the garden green before, so I ended up over colouring it with the olive, the old olive, to get that sort of richer colour. But I think I might leave him garden green this time. As I say, go play. Okay, there we are. And then, yep, I'm going to use, now I'm actually going to use Calypso, pumpkin pie even, for his face. You can use that, or perhaps Calypso Coral is the other one that works well as a facial colour, or even with early espresso over the top as well. So, and I'm just sort of giving him a bit of a face over his beard. Not sure where his beard starts, so I'm just colouring in his round his eye there. And then we need our blue again for our gloves. And I'm doing it a bit lighter this time than I did it last time, she says, as she does it darker on this one. So I'm just little circles, just blending it all together. And then I've missed a bit of his jacket just there. There we go. And then we did blue flowers. Again, you've got a blank canvas. Got a black canvas. Blank. Maybe I should just shut up for a while and colour in. There we go. So nice yellow centres. And then I use the early espresso for the boots. So I've done a darker for the sole. There. And then just gone back lightly to make the boots themselves. So you can get very different. I hope I've not spent the whole of this video with my hair in the way. I shall look back at playback before I actually put it up. So there we go. Okay, so you could then go back and do it again and get a deeper colour all around, but I'm quite happy with that. Okay, and we're going to put him that there. So let's pop everything together. So just going to get my Tombow. Left it with the lid off earlier, so I'm paying for it now. Whoops. I'm just gonna squidge it round a bit to spread out that glue. Oh, bring it down a bit. So I've left 1/2 centimetre all the way around the outside. So there's our we're toadstooling, mushrooming, don't really know. And then I'm just going to pop our little gnome up on dimensionals, and I think that's a nice clean and simple card. A lot quicker to make than I thought it would be, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm just going to use some of the bones for the feet, waste not, want not. I nearly got the wrong one. There we go. And then there's our little cheeky gnome on our clean and simple card. Just get the tweezers. There we are. Let's just pop him, I think, just there, so that blue flower's just peeping out, maybe from the side of him, just there. And there we are. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.